Hey, this is Peter Gould. This is episode 301, Mabel.
Hey, this is Vince Gilligan. I directed this episode.
Hi, Marshall Adams. I was a cinematographer on this episode.
Jonathan Banks, actor.
Bob Odenkirk, Jimmy McGill.
And Gene.
And Gene.
And in this case, in this moment, Gene.
You play three different guys on this show. Do you get paid for three different roles?
No, but I'm going to go right to the SAG booklet as soon as we're done and make sure.
You know, Vince, that might have been the wrong thing to bring up.
Can we clip that part out? Yeah. So here
You guys
we are,
are getting a lot for your money here.
We are. We're getting a lot for So here we are, the Cinnabon, the famous Cinnabon. Cinnabon. These guys have been so nice to us. And Marshall, this was the first day of shooting, wasn't it? For your first.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Your first day as a DP on. So welcome to Better Call Saul.
I actually did the dishes.
That was a great day, as a matter. We had a lot of fun.
Very good. This was a long day. You actually did the dishes?
I sure did.
How long was that? How we shot that time lapse was about 30 minutes straight of you guys plugging away, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 30 to 40 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
And all those extras are great. Nobody looked at the camera. They were just living it. Oh, I love that book. What book is that, Vince?
David a Balloon Niven. By the wonderful actor David Niven.
And it's a good book.
Yeah, I was just reading it. Got it as soon as I was done. I mean, I enjoyed reading it in the scene, and then I went and got a copy and read it. It was like the first really well-written celebrity biography.
He was an excellent writer.
Great writer and a real interesting story. Very unique. World War II. Soldier, fighter, flyer,
tank.
or Navy man.
Wasn't he in Tanks?
And then comes to Hollywood almost by accident and just kind of kicking around, and then boom, he's in movies.
But didn't he jump off of a fishing boat up in Ventura to get into the United States out of Mexico?
Right. I think we're doing the audio. We should be doing a book audio commentary.
Clearly, somebody has to buy the rights to Moon is a Balloon.
Why is that book applicable in your mind, Vince?
You know what it is? This is probably one of the most dumb reasons I can think of. But my dad, after my mom and dad got divorced in 1976, I went over to his kind of sad little bachelor pad apartment, and that was one of the few books he had in his house there. And I always remember the cover, and there's no better reason than that. Honestly, it seemed aspirational, I guess. Gene here is reading about somebody else's more interesting life, certainly.
And upbeat, fun life.
One thing I just want to observe is that this photo booth has pictures of our crew on it. That's Michael Novotny, our production designer you just glimpsed. So our crew is all over there on those photos.
That's great.
We have to talk about the backing there, too, right?
Oh, yeah, we're talking about the backing, too. Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't you...
Go for it. Go for it.
You got to talk,
we
Marshall.
couldn't control one of the stores in the mall, and we needed to be able to photograph it and control it. So we actually went there during the day and shot the front of it and made a giant printed backing so that it showed that the store was open.
So it was like a big department store, and there's a giant. It's like one of those old the Coyote and the Roadrunner cartoons where you paint the tunnel. So it's a photo, an exact photo of the store in front of the store, except it's a photo of the store open when the store was actually closed.
Exactly, and Michael somehow managed to print it in perfect life size, so nobody could tell. And then we had to break it down as soon as the store opened up, right? Get it out of the way.
It looked like a backlit billboard. It was remarkable.
And you can see it.
Might be it.
Yeah, that's it in the background. I think if you run it back after you hear this, you'll in the wide shot you'll notice it. There's our crew and these three actors did an excellent job. Dylan here. This day, as I recall, no offense, Bob, he was the only, the young man here, the young Skeeve, as he's credited, was the only person who was getting asked for his autograph this day.
Oh, wow.
You remember
that? Snyder.
Because he was on a Disney show.
Oh, really?
He was a star. He was a young star of a Disney show, and all these young fans in the mall, because the mall was open this whole day. This was folks in the near background are extras, but the mall was open, and people were still coming and going.
That's so cool.
And this young man,
he's the star of a show.
His name is Dylan Riley Snyder. He's an excellent young man, excellent actor. And all these kids were coming up and asking for his autograph in between takes.
Wow.
He's a good kid.
What you need?
That was interesting, where Gene can't hold it in.
Yes, absolutely.
That's really something, boy. That sort of tells me that Saul Goodman and Jimmy McGill and all those people that are bottled up inside him they just have to come out, right?
I think you're right. These two young ladies actually work at this Cinnabon. They did a great job. Cinnabon really has been good to us.
They've been great to us.
How did you get that? When you got the icing on your face, did you do that on purpose when you fell down? That was like, that was like the pizza on the roof.
No, I mean, it's like throwing the pizza on the roof, right?
It is.
As an actor, you have such a great desire to have it go wrong in just the right way. It really can make it work out.
So out in the parking lot of the mall, just time and time again, did you fall down?
Oh, geez,
with
you
icing in your
me
face?
At home for hours. I'm going to find out what show Dylan was in, so we can.
I love the way we kind of rewind the story a little bit here, and we hear this last little bit of dialogue between these two guys. Also, one thing I hate to go backwards, but about Dylan Snyder's coat. In the previous scene, that skeevy coat he's wearing, Jennifer Bryan just once again comes through. It tells you so much about the character.
She found a coat, but then she wanted to skeeve it up a little more, so she sewed on a faux fur collar to it that just made it so sad.
And that young fella is in a show called Kickin' It.
Okay, yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
If you're a Disney fan, go see him there.
And by the way, this desk did not have drawers in previous seasons.
Yeah, if you look closely, you notice there's no drawers previously.
So we decided there had to be drawers.
Yeah, gotta have drawers. That's what my mom always told me.
Well, whatever it was, he's over it now, right? And by the way, you're welcome.
So how hard a job was it lighting that and picking up after the wonderful Arthur Albert was talk about the look of the show a little bit.
Or you mean kind of trying to match the look there from before?
Well, because there's matching, but then there's also you added your own beautiful look to it as well. So it's not just about slavishly matching.
Yeah, I mean there was an established look in there that Steve and I mean luckily I had Steve Latecki, the fantastic gaffer that's been on the show for a long time. So he was able to help me kind of fight my way through finding where all of the great angles were for light in when we first came here. He did such an amazing job, and Arthur obviously did an amazing job too. So it was fun to try to keep it going.
Take some personal credit, for God's sake. Yes, those guys are great, and you are too, Marshall. We're lucky to have you.
I got a little carried away with the smoke maybe in this shot, but
yeah, Marshall, lighting something like this with all this shiny stuff around, and you've got all those great shadows, but it's got to be. I don't know how you do the math on that.
I was actually more afraid of it than it turned out to be. Steve, having done it the year before, said, they were terrified of it too, but when they got there, they realized that it wasn't that bad. Just trying to get the hard light, the blood, the big bounces off the silver
once you
stuff,
have
so it doesn't get too flat.
The big lights from outside, that's where you start, because that has to be sunny outside. And then I guess you fill in, but you don't want to lose the shadows, because that's the show.
Yeah, exactly. That's the hard part, is controlling it. But, it bounced around in there so much, you almost didn't have to add any inside.
Oh, wow.
I love the attention to detail Marshall gives. For instance, the smoke we used to use, there was a newer smoke that was a lot more carcinogenic, but it looked better light-wise when the light hit at a certain. No, I'm just kidding.
They do have new smoke.
Probably something you don't want to say again. So Bob's going to get a salary raise.
This book,
it's so
neat. Interesting. We have two books in a row. One in the teaser and one here. And Vince, talk about Mabel.
Meaning.
Talk about Mabel.
My mom, Gail Gilligan, used to read this to me when I was a little kid. I said in some interview she read it to my brother Patrick and me, but he doesn't seem to remember it. But I remember he might have been a little young. But I remember loving this book. And I just thought it'd be fun to I don't know. No better reason than that. But I love the way you two gentlemen play this scene. You guys are just great in this. You look so crushed at the end when he shuts you down, when you're trying to connect with him here, Bob, and then he shuts you down. You guys are so great together.
How's that look there? Look at that.
Yeah.
McKean.
I really felt
Switch it off.
watching this scene and reading it. You wrote this scene, Vince, and then watching it. I remember feeling that this was maybe the key to the season. This one scene.
I agree. I just watched 8, 9, and 10 last night, and to go to them reading in the tent at the end of the season and see that affection and hear that story that started this off. It's an amazing piece of work, you guys. You're just amazing.
Talk about looks. My hit on this is not as tender and as forgiving as yours. I mean, the constant put down by the older brother is just, and I got to think I'm a pretty good audience with this, and there it is, and there it is. Let me just crush you again.
Oh no, no, I agree. I mean, Chuck treats Jimmy terribly. You get no argument from me. It just makes me sad more than angry, I guess, is because I always sense that there was love going both ways there. Obviously, there's love going from Jimmy to Chuck, but it's from Chuck to Jimmy. It exists, but it just kind of stunted.
Well,
it makes me sad.
I'll tell you this. I am a big proponent of walking away from people that hurt you.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would perceive this relationship and think the same thing. You just have to get away from him, but
that's a good point.
You understand how also people get wrapped up. They spend their whole lives with somebody that they should get away from.
Yeah.
They marry them.
Jimmy wants it. He wants contact with Chuck so much. It's one of the things that when I say it's heartbreaking, that's what breaks my heart, because Jimmy's so open to it.
But he's getting shut down over the course of this season. He gets the distance comes in and he starts to close up shop.
It's true.
I love these two ladies. They had never met. Everyone asked me, "Is this really the older woman's daughter?" And they hadn't even met before we called action. Pretty much. You play hangdog very well.
Well, that's my default.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you both for being so patient.
I love the older lady. I love the look the stink eye she gives you at the door here.
Oh yeah.
This is such an elegant shot too.
Nice job.
That's what they call me, Mr. Elegance.
Whoa.
This is very nicely. You want to talk about our camera operators? I think it was Paul was it Paul or Matt who shot this one?
This was Paul.
Beautifully done. Both our operators, and Matt, our B camera operator. You've worked with him for
Did you
years.
just do all that in one shot?
Yeah.
Did you
That's
just
how
do
I
that
roll.
whole scene in one shot?
Yeah.
So how's Chuck?
Boy, oh boy, I'm telling you, I'm doing a movie right now with a pretty good director. He does a lot of that.
You want to name drop? You want to name drop who you're working
His
with?
name's Spiel something. And he's doing that all the time, putting the scene in one shot.
I'm glad I could teach him a few tricks.
Yeah, I think he learned it from. He must have seen the episode 1 of the season.
That's it.
How about we call it a day, Al?
Nice, Vince.
Ray Seehorn. Now, Jonathan, Bob. Now this is an actor.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Boy, oh boy, watch the whole season.
You two could learn something from this lady, I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the hardest thing to do, said the neophyte actor, still figuring out where to sign to leave the set. What do I sign when I want to leave the set? You have to sign the thing when you're done.
Right.
Anyway, I'm still learning the ropes. Is a simple scene where people are tossing there's not a ton of emotion here. They're just trying to get work done.
Jesus, I need more on my plate.
He's
feeling stuff.
feeling this. We got this bit coming up here where she throws the.
He's feeling stuff. He's distracted.
But tell him, Peter, that Bobby didn't know this was coming.
Yeah. So coming up here is a moment where I was sort of looking for a certain reaction here, and so I secretly went to Ray and I said, "Hey, why don't you? We won't tell Bob this, but why don't you throw a paperclip at him after he gives his sad story here?" And So she did it on the first take. I remember you looked at her like, what the fuck was that?
That's a good thing.
Made me laugh.
But
But then it was like, oh, wait, okay, yeah, right, okay, we'll do this.
budding filmmakers out there, just know it's a paper clip, not an anvil.
Yeah, and if you're going to throw it, hit him in the face with it.
Yeah, right at my head.
Try to scratch his cornea.
Barely saw it coming.
There he is.
Patrick
Yeah, that's
Wow.
a good-looking man.
Yeah, it is. And he's so good in this season, too. Again, this guy's hitting new highs.
I can't remember his name, but he's a very...
Patrick Fabian,
Fabian.
future governor of California. If things go right.
You know what? That'd be okay. His knowledge
It'd be
about
great.
water alone in California and its usages is incredible.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Really, honest to God.
He's a great man and so good in this season.
Mix that with my knowledge of bourbon. You've got a heck
There
of a
you
drink
go.
there.
that Virginia knowledge.
That's right.
So here he is, finally won over
Yes.
completely.
And
The
Marshall...
Chuck side, or at least in this incident, in the case of this moment.
Which is probably, in a sense, a relief, because he was thinking Chuck was pretty damn crazy with his...
Right.
You switch 1216 to 1261, or...
Right.
Is that the way it went, or was it 1261 to 1216? I can't remember.
Nobody knows.
Look at this shot, Marshall.
Oh,
you were the
Marshall.
man.
Oh, man.
It's
And it
so
only
much
gets
fun.
better
And
all
that set
season.
is just amazing.
The smoke is all joking aside. The smoke is perfectly safe, but it is a pain in the butt, right?
Yeah, it's tough on the crew. I mean, people have allergies to it and start to sniffle, and it's not a lot of fun to work in. But
And
it sure
fucking
looks beautiful.
hate you for using it.
And then at the end of the day, you blow your nose, and it looks like a Welsh coal miner, the ring in a Welsh coal miner's bathtub or something. And it's like,
I think it might be safe to go ahead, or prudent to say that it's perfectly safe. I don't know by whose standards, but perfectly safe.
It is safe, and we have smoke breaks too, which is, of course, it's an interesting problem we have with this season. Oh, there's the man.
Man, you pick up right here. Holy shit.
Because we had these things that
It's
happened, and we wanted to
amazing.
go immediately. So
Yeah.
you have a choice about how to do it structurally, and so we open the act and we rewind this storyline a little bit too.
And that don't on the little piece of paper, we all got cups that say "don't."
that's
on
right.
Them. Now I was busting ass across here, buddy. I
Drone
was
shot.
driving this car.
Were
I
you
loved
really?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a good time.
And that was
It's
our
fun.
first ever drone shot.
Yeah,
on,
it was.
on Better Call
Really?
Saul. Yep. And Marshall, the man here himself, operated it. It was your
Yeah,
drone.
It was
Marshall.
my drone.
And he was the one flying it.
Wow.
And yeah, you did a great job driving this, Jonathan. You were.
It's
you were,
fun, right, John, to
Oh,
drive
it's-
on?
Well,
to be able to-
especially out in that sand.
Yeah,
because
you're not going to hit
look
anyone.
at I like it.
It's so much fun. Please write me a scene where I drive that little thing around in the
Write
dirt.
me a scene where I have Write me a scene where I have Bobby in the car with me, so I can scare the shit out of him. Watch this. There's a lightning
Oh,
It's
strike.
yeah.
actually in the next shot, but yes, talk ahead about it. There's a shot, the final few seconds of this scene. There's an actual lightning strike in the background. It's off to the right side of the frame, and that was shortly before we had to shut down for the day because you can't shoot
Look at that.
with the lightning going.
Yeah.
Dude,
Just
Marshall.
It was
There it
windy
was.
as-
What?
There it was.
And it was windy as shit too.
Well,
We tried to get a couple more shots. We had the camera up on the ladder, and we just almost got blown over at the end of that one.
I love working out there, though. Oh my God,
Yeah,
I
it was
love
beautiful.
working out there.
To be fair, it wasn't windy during that, but then the wind kicked up and it literally blew a tent away and all kinds of stuff.
Now I want you to look at the subtlety and the nuance in this scene.
Oh, my God. What a sequence this is.
This was so unpleasant to shoot. I did not enjoy shooting this.
Why is that,
It wasn't Jonathan's fault. It was hot, and I had these, and the crew did a wonderful job. Marshall did a wonderful job. What was unpleasant was of my own making. I was very ambitious in terms of I wanted dozens and dozens and dozens of shots, and it makes it tough on you when you have an unmakeable day that you yourself have concocted. So I was bummed out the whole day that we weren't getting all the stuff we needed, but there was no way to get all the stuff we needed because we really needed another day or two out here. If this had been a movie shoot, they would have been out here for 10, 11, 12 days probably.
So what did you have to do? Did you have to, in the course of the day, cut shots?
Oh yeah, cut lots and lots of shots. And the truth is, I got a lot to learn as a director. The really good directors know exactly what they want or what they need and no more. And I usually typically wind up overshooting. I got to direct more, so it's what comes from experience. The more you do it, the more you know what you need, the more you know what you don't. I still got that to learn.
Wanted to point out the first couple of shots there going underneath the car were shot with the Sony A7, right? The tiny little camera.
Yeah, that you could get at Best Buy.
Really
it's a great camera.
Yeah, really amazed me that day. It was able to have, because shooting into the sky is such high contrast.
That's right, so it didn't all just burn out.
No. It was
Wait, why did you use that camera?
Because we couldn't hold the other, it was so big to hold straight up like that Paul couldn't hold it. So
you got a little Sony, what is it called?
Sony A7. There's this particular model of A7. Which one was it? There's two different?
There's the S and the R. We actually had the R.
Great camera. Sony makes it. Now, we're not just saying that because they pay our salary.
That's just part of it. It's because we're hoping Sony sends us A7.
I hope so. That would be good. So I can sell it on eBay. This is a group. This is a band out of
Is it Bad Bad Not Good?
It's Bad Bad Not Good, and these young, very young folks and brilliant musicians. Oh, I love this guy. I love this gentleman. He did a great job.
Vince, how'd you do that shot? The time passage where the camera pans up.
You know how I did it? I told. Who's our young man who does our time lapse?
It was Jesse Heidenfeld.
Jesse. I told Jesse to get me a shot, and then I walked off with a sandwich in one hand and an iced tea in the other. That's literally it was a time lapse with a still camera, I believe.
Yeah, with the Sony A7.
And a motion control head, right?
Yeah, certainly was. I'm not sure that we used the. Oh, that's right, because we did the tip up on it, didn't we? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there. Your mic's slipping down there.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so we used the motion control head for the tilt up, and it does a time lapse, slowly one photograph every minute or so.
Yeah.
And seam them together.
Why can't you do something in post to get rid of the chicken gizzard neck?
Oh my God!
I mean, my God! Look, poor
John.
Saul.
You're. No one's looking at your neck. You're the only one.
No one's looking at you at all.
At all. At your eyes, buddy.
At all.
They're just waiting for Ray Seehorn to come back.
Your eyes.
Counting the frames until she comes back and lights up the screen. Now, first of all,
there's a profile. Excuse me.
I
was knocked out by that. I really was.
It's not a coin.
Handsome man. And by the way, the gentleman, Forey Smith, the gentleman who plays the Junkyard owner here, I love Forey. He did a great job. He's very, very, very funny gentleman. He looks like Sam Elliott, doesn't he?
He does. A short Sam Elliott, yeah.
He wasn't short, was he?
Yep.
I don't remember that.
Well, he's not as tall as Sam, that's all.
Okay, I wouldn't know. I never met Sam Elliott, but...
No, not a bad guy.
It was all this stuff is so beautifully done, Vince. This is page after page of script with no dialogue. This episode and the next episode, and it can be a little scary because is it going to be clear? Is it going to come off? And there's this stuff with the gas cap is so complex, and I remember all the joy we had in the writers' room coming up with it. But I remember also being in suspense.
That's a great shot.
It is.
That was a great shot.
Is that on a crane, you guys?
What was that?
That was a crane. Yeah, or was it actually not a crane because we didn't have the money. It was a scissor lift.
Yeah, Condor. Right? It's a cherry picker.
Yeah. But thank you. That was a group effort. It took a village to get that shot. It took a village to get that whole sequence. That was a big one.
And it's
and the
gonna be more.
junkyard guys were moving stuff around constantly for us, and they couldn't have been more helpful.
They were good
couldn't
guys.
They were having a good time, I think.
Yeah, the guy operating the big forklift, he was an actual employee. It was 5J's Auto Parts. It's a real place, real junkyard, a pick and pay place. Good bunch of people.
It's real bumper stickers all over the wall.
If you're looking for an old, like an old, fuel pump or radiator or something like that, and you're in Albuquerque, New Mexico, by all means, check out 5J's.
But it's not the junkyard from Breaking Bad.
No, that's a different. There's on Broadway there in Albuquerque. There are probably a good dozen junkyards, and that was a different one we shot in back in Breaking Bad. Those were good folks too. I remember lining up this shot with the one especially coming up here, a couple of these, where you had to hold this thing perfectly still. You were so pissed off. You're like, God damn it.
Me?
What?
Ever the easiest person in the world to work with.
I got to hold my head. How? Guys.
Jesus
God
Christ, Vince.
What?
I'm like, but Jonathan, it looks so gorgeous. Your eye is the size of a billboard.
You tell me one shot you've ever had that you don't think, oh wait, this looks so gorgeous. We gotta.
And this really was in the tiny, tiny little kitchen of that house. This house is great. This house was built in 1890. It was an old part of a bunch of railroad flats, I guess, built by the railroad. And the gentleman who owns it is a real sweet guy. We had that cool shot. Did you figure it out for us, Marshall, where we're inside the gas cap looking out? That was a fun one.
That was a fun
I
one.
think that one already went by.
Now, you sure I can't help you?
I love this lady. She did a great job. She's a really nice job.
And there's some more dialogue here than was scripted, isn't there? About
she throws in the
flowers.
Yeah.
Yes, this is Elena. Is this Elena? Elena Warren Zachary.
They don't smell, you know.
She did. She I think she did. And this was her. I wanted the scene. I loved the two of you together so much here, and I wanted to go a little longer. So I told her to just make up a bunch of names of just to vamp a little. It was her idea to come up with all the different names of the flowers, and you two were great together. That was fun.
I wrote this scene, and I was surprised when I saw it, and I thought, that's great. I wish I'd thought of that.
You did a great job with this scene. I love this scene coming up. So we kind of split it half and half when we write, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of. Brendan Fair, talk about a hero. Playing a heroic Air Force guy. Remind the folks where we saw this actor last season.
In 208, he was the of course, as in the story here, he was the captain who let Jimmy and his crew onto the Air Force base, and he was so upbeat. But of course, he wasn't originally cast in the role. He was there was another actor cast in the role who ate something bad. And he got very sick
on the set,
and this was
was doing a great job.
And this was our one day with the vintage bomber,
right,
way out there at the
Double Eagle Airport.
At Double Eagle Airport, and suddenly we had no actor.
Right.
And Brendan was doing, I think, the night shift.
Yeah, he lives down there with his family because he does the night shift.
And
he came in
on 2 hours' notice. Had never read the script. For all I know, never even seen the damn show. Nailed it.
He was great.
Wonderful guy.
And we thought, wouldn't it be great to have him come back? Wouldn't it be great to have some blowback from this commercial? And I think the other thing that was intriguing to me about this scene and the way I love the way you play it, Bob, is that we see a little bit of Jimmy's feeling about what happened with Chuck here. It kind of leaks out into this scene with this other character, and that really intrigued me, and I think it plays really well.
Well, I do think he has to push back sometimes. He keeps getting kicked around by everybody.
You might want to mention about the guy that got sick on the set. He didn't necessarily get sick from the food on the set.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't our food, of course.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
That's true. No, absolutely. And to be fair, I don't know the provenance of the food there. It might have been something he ate at a 7-Eleven.
I believe it was a case of food poisoning, but not our caterer.
Not our caterers.
Not our caterer.
No, not guarantee.
Oh my God, no.
That's thank you for saying that, Jonathan.
Yes.
Very good point. Very good.
We
point.
love our caterers. That was
and it wasn't our craft service folks either.
No.
They're wonderful too. It was.
Absolutely.
It might have been. Who knows what it was? Might have been the altitude. It might have been anything.
It's that damn Air Force base, I tell you.
I love the way you play this.
And by the way, Brendan has seen the show any number of times. Brendan's a big fan of the show.
Okay, right on.
And he's a good kid.
He's a good guy.
Man, whatever.
Good young man. And a very fine actor, very funny, and just came in. You two, it's just fun working with pros.
Oh, he's great. He's a great dude. Let's bring him back again.
Well, and it's funny, we brought him back. Peter was just saying a minute ago, we figured there could be some blowback. It makes sense that it's a small town relatively.
Yeah,
this guy would have seen the commercial and
Right.
been uptight about it. But we could have just as easily gone the other way and never brought the character back. A large part of it was we love the actor.
Mm-hmm.
That happens all the time. That happened with Mark Margolis. That happened with Tio. I don't think we would have necessarily brought back Tio in Breaking Bad if we didn't love Mark so much.
And coming up in future episodes, Peter DeSeth.
Yes.
Is just wonderful as the ADA Oakley.
ADA Oakley and Albuquerque.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
love it.
I've still never met that guy.
Neither have I.
He's wonderful. He does a great job. These folks were very nice extras. How do you like working in this booth?
Well, I like what Trina does. You notice that crossword puzzle is halfway filled out. I mean, it's only there for a second. But Trina had gone in and filled in all the answers for me before I ever got it.
I was so sad when there was a piece of footage. The train was going by. The rail runner train was going by in the background, and it looked so cinematic. But there was a whole other scene. You'll see it actually on this Blu-ray set.
It's a deleted scene, and it is a beautiful scene with the train going by.
I just love trains. It was cool seeing a train go by in the background. You'll see that on the deleted scene from this episode.
How many times did you unscrew that gas cap, do you think, Jonathan?
It's getting it up there on top here. I'm putting it right there.
Right
You got
there.
it. Now, that's a beautiful, and Vince going, that's a beautiful shot. We got to get that again, for Christ's sake.
I love the water dripping in the foreground,
Yeah.
the upper foreground. That was special effects rig that, and then a little drip.
Now, Marshall, that scene was shot. Was that scene shot with the same camera that we shoot the rest of the episode in?
Look at
Yeah,
that.
that one was.
come
this
on.
one
Perfect
was-
segue.
That's so good.
This
this
scene, though.
Was
This scene was done with a Vericam.
That's correct. Yeah, this was the first one that we did, and it
Well,
was.
tell everyone what a Vericam is.
So what's special about that particular camera is it has two ISO settings, which is the speed of the camera. One is at the normal 800, and the other one is at 5,000, which allows us to shoot in incredibly low light. So we were able to actually use just the bulbs that were on the pole out there to light the whole scene.
I love it. Well, and again, I don't want you selling yourself short. You lit this very carefully. The rails here are all individually greased with silicone spray just to make them kick, to make the light kick. And that was the attention to detail that Marshall and our crew bring to this. Joe DeRosa. Gotta love Joe DeRosa.
Oh, man.
This guy. I love this guy.
So funny.
Look at the shot with the Vericam here. Look at the heat haze coming out of the. God, I love this camera. It's so good.
I remember how excited you were about that when you saw it on the
so
set.
excited by the gas, the heat haze coming out of the Bic lighter. I love this location. This is part of the old Albuquerque. I'm not getting the official title right, but it's the old Locomotive Works at Albuquerque, where back in the 30s and 40s they built steam locomotives.
Yeah, and the turntables are still there.
That's
There's wonderful stuff.
Exactly. That big in the wide shot where it's talking about the shiny rails, that was the original roundhouse turntable where they'd store the locomotives when they're being worked on or just built. And this place has such history. I could shoot an entire movie in this place.
I want to say something about Joe. I love that this character, this sleazy bastard, always asks about the dog. How's that dog doing? Because he really cares. He cares about animals.
He's a good vet.
He's a good vet.
Yeah. God, I love shooting. This was my favorite night of shooting. I think this place. I I wanted the scene to be 3 times longer so I could get more fun shots in this place.
Well, who wanted that shot from inside that saw the car coming up through the thing?
That was Matt. The
Shot.
best shot in the whole sequence. I'd love to take credit for it. That one wasn't mine at all. That was Matt Cradle, who
beat camera operator.
Camera operator said, "What if I put a camera over here?" And I walked over with a mouthful of hot dog and said, "Yeah, that looks good." And then wandered back to my trailer. And that's my favorite shot of all.
Yeah, right. This was the crane shot.
Talk about this
reveal
thing,
the horse,
whatever that
the famous horse
sculptor is there.
They did such a great job putting that thing together.
What an amazing job.
Massive.
You want to talk about that, Peter? Just the fact that there was a throwaway line about in a last season episode about a horse, about the logo for Mesa Verde being a cowboy on a horse next to a cactus.
That was season 2, and we thought, well, let's see it. And we thought, let's make a sculpture. And I think you had the idea of it could be a sculpture made out of metal plates, basically like rusty trench plates.
Right.
And Michael Novotny and our construction coordinator Steve Brown, who deserves a lot of the credit, built this thing. It's a beautiful design, and it's not the metal plates are not metal plates. Those are actually. I believe they're foam core.
It's a steel frame, a beautifully welded steel frame, and with foam core cladding. And then our paint crew, the best of the business, they paint it to look like rusty steel. And even an inch away from it, I couldn't tell the difference.
It's a remarkable piece of work.
And they even got the weld cuts. If you look closely, it might have already gone past, or maybe it's coming up when Paige's assistant comes up. You even see the torch lines in the edge of the foam core in the close-up. That was the level. There it is. The torch. You see the scallopy torch lines. They just added those in to make it look even more like it was.
But that thing that upstaged Kara and Ray.
Sorry.
But Kara, you got to mention what a good actress she is.
She's
Kara
wonderful.
is awesome, and I appreciate her. This happens to me oftentimes. I appreciate her on set, and then in the editing room, I even appreciate more.
Kara Pivko, she's just a sweetheart, a wonderful actress.
Yes.
I love this lobby, too. This place is great. This building looks like nothing from the outside. From the inside, I mean, you pass it without even a second glance. From the inside, it's this awesome lobby.
And it's an interesting piece of trivia. It's the same building where Skyler scammed the IRS on Breaking Bad.
Right, wow. And we never saw the inside then. We only saw the outside, right?
That's right.
Yeah, good trivia.
And this is where Ray worries about the semicolon.
Talk into your mic there.
And this is where Ray worries about the semicolon.
yeah.
I just love it.
This was fun. What lens is this to get this super close up?
I'm trying to remember. Oh, we had a diopter on the end of the big long zoom so we could get that tight. That whole frame is probably a quarter of an inch wide, maybe half an inch wide.
I love getting shots like that. And Ray is so fun to work with. She's such a sweetheart. We love Ray.
Oh, yeah, sure. Great.
She's not an angry clown.
An angry clown. Yeah, that Jonathan Banks, what a sweetheart that boy is, huh?
The thing is, Vince, don't you do that with like the semicolon?
Oh yeah, no, Peter and I are just batshit nuts. Well, maybe just me.
No,
it makes the
Peter
show
plays
so
along.
great.
Yes.
Just neurotic. This writers are neurotic.
I'm neurotic everywhere, but especially in post. And I drive Kelly and Skip and everyone in post crazy because I have to every single cut. We're messing around with and watching over and over again, and it is very much like the semicolon, the colon, and the dash.
Because there's genuine fear inside you that's making you.
Oh yeah,
feel
fear is
scared.
fuel.
Is that right?
It really is. No, not even joking. Yeah, fear is what keeps you going.
But it's one of the things I love is seeing her process and getting into her head, and there's not a word said about it, and also the relationship with Jimmy. Jimmy comes in and he knows she's not going to be finished right away. He opens up those paint cans again.
Turns around, goes right back to work.
Yes, he knows.
Good paint acting here, by the way.
That's right.
I like your paint acting.
This is too much like reality. I'm not kidding.
Oh, Ernie. Brandon K. Hampton.
Yeah, great.
Good guy.
Great.
There's some great footage in the gag reel of that bag of ice falling down.
Love the car that he's got.
This shot was great. This was Paul.
Paul came up with that shot.
Paul came up with this shot, our wonderful camera operator. He used to shoot Formula One in Europe, right?
Did he really?
I believe he did. He was telling me, because he got that shot. He said, hey, can I try something? I said, yeah. And he sets it up, and I said, God, that's great. And he said, I used to shoot, and he told this whole story about shooting, I think it was Formula One in Europe. So he had a lot of practice shooting beautiful shots of cars. This shot was fun to get. This oneer here. You guys really, I love being a director because I come up with some crazy ass shot and then I wander off and get my hair cut in the makeup trailer or something. And you guys have to like sweat and figure it out. The lighting here, because this shot goes, I don't know, what does it go? Like 140 degrees after the pan here?
Yeah, it pans over to the other side, something like that.
This is the season of 180 degree pans, and Marshall just crushed every single one of them.
Well,
God, look at that
the
lighting.
genius that is you, Vince, though, putting this all together in one shot, making it all work. It's just, that's really difficult.
I just got to get to the titty bar. I got to, the fewer shots you do during the day, the sooner you get to drinking,
There, that may be cut.
You think?
I love this.
I just got to get to the titty bar.
I love. This is such a scam that. This is where we get the feeling for the first time. Is this the first time we come to the realization that scamming runs in the McGill family? It runs in the blood there.
I think we had a clue of that at the end of last season
Of course,
with the recording, but here we find out Chuck is. This is a remarkable piece of acting that Chuck is doing, and that Michael is doing too, of course.
Turn it off! Exactly. You did not hear that.
It's a good scene. It's a great scene.
All right.
Michael really makes you feel like you feel it in your hand when he does that.
Well, that's what he did. When he touched it, he jumped.
But now that you've heard it, you need to understand.
Can you believe he used to be Lenny?
You know about confidentiality, right?
Yeah.
Lenny and Squiggy.
As employees of Hamlin McGill, you and I are both bound by the strictures of client confidentiality by law.
And I don't say that as a put down to Lenny and Squiggy.
No.
Just the range of his career.
Well, we're trying to use as much of the range as we can. I mean, I think, strangely enough, I think Chuck can be very, very funny. He just is not trying to be funny.
But talk about just heart attack serious.
Yes.
I mean, as a dramatic actor,
God.
or as funny as funny as you want, as funny as it could possibly be.
Both those McGill boys.
What a range!
There's a little bit coming
But
up.
that tagline, I'd be sick about it. It's just great.
It's so
Great
good.
job, Peter. Great
good.
scene. Peter wrote this scene.
Well, there was something that you guys did in this that I did not write, which is this little bit with the tongs, where he tosses the tongs, which is just absolutely is the perfect cherry on top of the sundae here.
which you'll see in the gag reel because it took about 5 or 6 takes he keeps dropping it in the gag reel.
I will say this on this DVD commentary. You're hearing this. I'm beginning to realize, even if you people don't like our show, we obviously are having a great time.
That's true. That's true.
Talk about this prop. This prop. Mark Hansen, our prop master, and Joe, our on our special effects department.
Oh, Joey.
Ulabari?
Yes,
Ulabari.
yes.
Joe Ulabari.
I'm sorry, Joe. I can never think of your last Ulabari. What a cool last name.
Well, and what a cool guy, and what a good artist.
What an
He's
artist.
remarkable.
He worked. This took a village too, but this prop does not exist in the real world, and yet it looks like it does. It looks like we just we bought it somewhere, but this thing was designed and by the art department and printed on a 3D printer. I can't remember who. This was a bunch of people, but Joe Ulabari printed this on his printer, on his 3D printer, and then painted it, and just a bunch of people made this thing work. And then the screen itself, he kind of kit bashed out of something or other.
He did, and it's run by an Arduino board. inside the there.
And I'll say this to the audience. All this stuff, if something goes wrong and you have to wait and for somebody to come and correct it, because a lot of times film crews will be disparaged that, so many people are sitting around. Well, you know what? When you're needed and it's right there and it happens, and Joe is unflappable. He, with the special effects and what goes on, it can be in the middle of a maelstrom and he will still keep his head about him.
Oh, and before we get past it, I agree completely. The screen, it existed in real life and it really glowed and it really had something on it, but all the animation on the screen was actually, even in this shot right here, completely replaced digitally by Diane Mercer and the amazing artists that keep me posted. So talk about a group effort. Every time you see this glowing screen, especially when you see stuff moving on it, the animation on it, all of that was done on a computer afterwards. So it's amazing what they can do now. All right, here's your famous. That was a quick glimpse of your famous transistor radio you're always listening to ball games on.
Philadelphia.
Oh, KDSK coming up here. This is my assistant Jen Carroll and I, when she'd drive me to the set every day for these 2 episodes, 301, 302, and I'd always be in a bad mood because I'd be like, God, I got so much work to do today and I'm going to fuck it up. But my favorite part of the day was when she'd drive me to work and we'd listen to KDSK in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This crazy station that has the best playlist, the most eclectic playlist. So these are their real DJs talking.
And it might be noted, Jen Carroll would turn the volume up so she didn't have to listen to him bitch and moan and whine on the way to work.
She'd also have like my McDonald's breakfast waiting for me, so she knew she'd get a moment's peace while I was eating it, not be talking. Like you were saying earlier, Peter, there's a lot of explaining here, that a lot of stuff happening that is only explained visually. Like, what's the plan here? What he's doing, obviously, is hopefully it's obvious. Maybe it's not obvious.
I don't think it's obvious.
Hopefully it's, if not obvious, hopefully if you think about it, it makes sense. He's draining the battery on the original tracker so that it dies naturally and not in a suspicious way. So that there's a low battery reading for hours on end, and then finally it dies, so that the guys on the other end, who we'll meet in the next episode, think, this is just a technical glitch. It's not somebody messing with our transmitter. That was a fun shot.
It's hopefully, to me anyway, now that I understand it, and after having worked on it, it's so clever what he does. He's really turning their surveillance inside out on them. He's turning their surveillance method into his surveillance method, and I think that's pretty cool.
This is not a soundstage for folks that are in the business thinking, they had complete control of the light and they were shooting in a soundstage set. This is a real house, really built in 1890. It's about the size of a shoebox, and you and your guys, Marshall, between the Vericam and your lighting, this is some of my favorite photography in both episodes here.
Yeah, we were really having a good time in there. That was a lot of fun. I just remember it was so dark in there.
Yeah.
Because the Vericam is so fast.
And just for the audience, again, if you want to know how many pistachios I ate.
That's what I was going to ask.
Oh, my
Do you like pistachios?
He's
Actually,
definitely allergic to them.
Trina got some pretty good pistachios, so it was not so bad. But I mean, I ate a lot of pistachios.
There's one moment, I don't know if the world will ever see it. Oh, great time-lapse by Jesse. And then he even came in, sprayed a little water on there and make it look like it had rained. But there's one bit of footage somewhere in the world where you're like, guys, that's the last fucking pistachio I'm eating tonight. Just want to go on record.
I like the pistachios. I remember my grandfather used to eat them, and they used to be dyed red. Remember, he used to dye
get
the
them all over
red,
your fingers,
and they get all over. And that was, I think, what was on my mind when I thought about.
Is
those
this the
pistachios.
same camera?
Yeah.
This is
the
with
Vericam. Isn't it beautiful?
It's a very interesting look. It doesn't look, to me, it doesn't look like film. It doesn't look like digital. It's its own thing.
These guys, I love this. This was, if you look really closely, this is supposed to be the actor, one of the two actors you're going to see next week in the next episode. But we didn't have those guys cast yet. So right, so this was I don't know. I guess we had them cast, but this was actually a stand-in who did that. It wasn't the actor in next week's scene.
Such a great shot there. It's really.
And now Dave Porter comes in.
Yeah, here's Dave Porter. Now that's the real screen. That's actually the real screen, the real unit, and then it turns into this. Actually,
Marshall,
this is animated.
Marshall,
yeah.
is that light on Jonathan actually coming from the?
Yeah, it comes right from the machine. We didn't supplement that at all in any of the driving stuff or any of this.
And by the way, it's not something you find out on the set. I mean, you guys did a lot of experimentation.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
tests.
Make sure that it was going to work.
Such a great look. You know, before we leave here today, I think the audience also ought to know that Marshall worked until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Today.
And then today.
Yeah.
On another show.
And on another show. And got here at, 9 o'clock to do this? Buddy, you need to go to bed.
We do appreciate it. We appreciate it. Marshall, we're
my pleasure.
so lucky to have you.
Yeah,
So,
well,
and big shoes to fill because Arthur Albert, wonderful DP, wonderful gentleman, and we love him too. He went off to do a show in Spain. It was his lifelong dream to live in Spain, and so we love him, but we love you. We're lucky to have you.
Oh, my
thank
God.
you. We had big shoes to fill.
Show has never looked better.
Wave goodbye to Mike. Bye, Mike.
Yeah. Bye, Mike. Bye, Angry Clown. Eric Justin, one of our mixer, one of our two mixers on Breaking Bad. God bless him. Passed away way too young.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody.
Nice
Yeah.
work.
Good.
What a great
Great
bunch of
episode.
people.
Crew, look at that.
I can't wait to see these people again. Bravo. Thanks for listening. Bye.